Uncle Al, and welcome to Coffee Talk. Thank you for mentioning that for me. Yes, please hit the like button. And thank you for doing so, Uncle Al. It does help the live stream. So, how are you doing, sir? Seeing how it's just us in here right now. Want to let you know I really appreciate you for what all you have taught me, and I appreciate your support and encouragement. And you know I support you. Still haven't heard anything about Bus Stop. Haven't heard anything about him. His phone was disconnected. Hasn't been any activity on his channel. Last time I checked, his channel is still up. It's just no activity on it. I had my summative conference today, which is like, and we talked for a little bit, and I got a very good summative. They liked, my boss liked what I did. Um, I'm welcome back this coming year, and I should be getting an electronic copy of my contract for the coming year at any time. And they're shorthanded. Right now they have 2 openings for special education teachers, and they'd really be screwed if I left. But I said I would be back. I went over to Sam's Club, and they have like a $1.38 for a very nice hot dog and a soda, which was supper. I needed to stop over there and get some chips and a box of candy for my kids at school. I basically bribed them for good behavior and work. And it's called a token economy. Eddie O'Neill, hello, Eddie O'Neill. Good to see you. And I will tell you, I'm behind on everybody. Right now, I am behind. I scroll through a lot of shorts, and if anybody I follow that I see on shorts, I will leave a like and a comment. And I'm just behind on videos. I'm really behind on videos. Most evenings I will run a playlist, and when I run a playlist, I will normally hit 7 or 8, hour long, hour and a half long live streams. And it'll run over at night, and sometimes it's still running when I get up the next morning. And then I'll try to go back during the day at some point to leave a supportive comment letting them know I did a full replay, and that they get received a like, and I usually leave the like number. So I had assessment training yesterday. The reason I didn't come on is I was tired. I had less assessment training. And this coming week, we're going to start administering the STAR exam. And if everybody is here on every day of STAR exam, I've got to participate in 8 different tests that I have to administer. Reading and math to the 6th graders. Reading, writing, in math to the 7th graders and reading, math, science, and social studies for the 8th graders. I take it back, only reading and math for the 7th graders. So 6th grade and 7th grade is reading and math, and they're all tested on different days, and if somebody's absent, then you got to participate in retakes. So it could be more than 8 days. You know, if somebody's absent and they're going to do a retest day, and then I got to be involved with that. And it screws up the whole day. Most of the rest of April is messed up with testing. You know, it'll be testing. I think we finish on like May the 3rd. And then we'll have like 12 or 13 days of school left before school gets out. So the school year is pretty much out. I'll be off all of June and all of July, and I go back on August the 6th. And that's the way that will run. I did do a post on my community wall Tuesday stating that I would not be on Wednesday, and I'd be back Thursday. I don't know how many people viewed it. Did get a few comments on it. And what I chose to put up on my post was statistics on my channel. I finally hit 1,550 subscribers. So I dropped down to 1,549. So I'm standing at 1,549 right now. And usually the way it would work is that I would pick up several, I'd lose one or two, but I would usually pick up more than I lost. And then for whatever reason, I got it at a balance of right around 1,520, and it just stayed that way for like 6 weeks. I'd pick up a couple, I'd lose a couple. I'd pick up a couple, I'd lose a couple. It pretty stayed balanced, and then all of a sudden it just started going back up. So I'm up about 30 subscribers, you know, in the last week or so. And I mean, if I was to actually do, you know, aggressive outreach and pushing, I could be at 1,600 in a week. I could very easily be at 1,600 in a week. When I do hit 1,600, I will be doing a another 100 new subscriber giveaway. It's been a while since I've done one. People seem to have forgotten what they're like unless you go back and look at them. But I look forward to that. In order to qualify for the 1,600 subscriber giveaway, you have to have left a like and a supportive comment on each of the last 5 videos that I will have released up to the point of hitting that 1,600, the last 5. And sometimes I go for a while without releasing a video, and sometimes I'll release 2 or 3 shorter videos in a week. Not shorts, shorter videos. And I know there are several people in the chat, but only a couple of you have left comments. If you are here and you're willing to, please let me know who you are. I would appreciate it. I've been talking to Dyke Bullfrog 79 and Eddie O'Neill. Eddie O'Neill. 4 in the house and only 1 like. Eddie O'Neill, if you haven't done so, please leave a like to support the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. So I was visiting with somebody yesterday evening, and I pointed out to them that this is a hobby for me. YouTube is a hobby. Preparedness and prepping is a lifestyle, but the YouTube aspect is a hobby for me. I actually use YouTube to get information. I do research on stuff going to YouTube. Well, Uncle Al, I appreciate that. 80 degrees, depending on the humidity, can be very hot, can be very wet. It's been in the 70s here, been in the 70s. We had a couple of real high wind rain nights overnight. People were complaining it knocked the power out. Something went down someplace and knocked some power out over near my school. One of my paraprofessionals who lives across the street in the apartment said that the power went out about 3 o'clock and they hadn't reestablished it. And that was after about 4 or 5 hours. And so, you know, that is a small version of SHTF. You don't want to have the AC out on your refrigerator for too long. If you do, you can lose your food. Dry, Uncle Al? Okay, I understand it's dry. Dry. I understand, sir. 11 minutes in, 3 in the house, 1 like. Please leave a like to support the channel. I don't know. Sometimes you feel like maybe this is not a good time for a live stream. I don't know that I'm going to go a full hour if it's only 3 or 4 people. I'm still tired. I got up this morning about 5 o'clock. I've been on the run all day. And I'm sure there are other live streams on, and I'm sure some of the people that usually come in here are probably on a different live stream. That happens. I'm sure I'm not the most interesting person on right now. The live stream that I did on Tuesday has 95 views. I understand you're tired, Uncle Al. I understand. I hope you're adjusting to your new teeth. They look fine to me. I know you're having to adjust to speaking because your voice is a little off. So, did you have a full replacement, or is it just partials, or what? If I can ask, do you have partials or do you have full set? Or were they what they call implants, where they put some screws in and then they mount them, you know, so you don't take them out, or they're difficult to come out? I've never really had any work done on my teeth. I would periodically have them cleaned. It's been years since I've had them cleaned. I've never had a cavity, I've never had an identified cavity. I did have my wisdom teeth out. The only thing I've really had done to them, I had my wisdom teeth out when I was about 30. Went to an oral surgeon, gave me a little blue pill, put me to sleep, and I woke up. I felt like Dracula for about 3 days. Pulled 2 of them and cut 2 of them. Trying to unglued my upper from a doll. Well, we are right at 15 minutes in. 3 in the house, 1 like. Uh, Hello, Bud Files. Welcome. Please leave a like to support the channel. It will be greatly appreciated. Oh God, that's horrible. That is horrible. Yeah. How old is your grandniece? Hello, little lone prepper. 6 years? Yeah, that's about right. 6 years old. Utah Mike. I left a community wall post on Tuesday that I would not be on Wednesday, but I would be back on Thursday. That's the only thing I put up about it. And then I did talk about it on Tuesday that I would be back on Thursday, Mike. I'm sorry if you didn't get that. Been at work, been a busy day, tired. I will plan on being back tomorrow at 7. Not that many people coming in tonight. I may cut it off at about 30 minutes. I've only had a handful of people come in. Well, YouTube is not what it was, and they may not be too happy with me. The weather, it's dry right now, probably right at 80-ish. Low humidity. We had a couple of nights earlier in the week where it really rained overnight, high winds. Sunday night it was pretty high winds. We've had rain overnight. When I wake up in the morning, everything's wet. So as I was saying, my para earlier in the week, we had a lot of wind, and it was real wet overnight. pretty stormy, and about 3 o'clock in the morning the power went out across the street from my school. The area on the other side of my school, the light at the intersection, everything was out. When I got to work, it was all dark on that side. The light, they had put out stop signs on all 4 points in the road to where people knew they had to come to a stop. And not a big team, Mike, only 5 in the house right now. Please leave a like to support the channel. So anyway, she had her power go out about 3 o'clock in the morning. She said she had to get dressed and do her makeup in the dark, my paraprofessional. And the Black Widow, hello Black Widow. So it took them, she said that about the time she was getting ready to go to school, about 7:30, an electric truck from the electric company pulled up on the corner and started working on a line. So she said that was probably about 4.5 hours after the power went out. Somebody came on duty, and they waited till the morning. When they came on duty, they went over to go work on it. Yeah, good. Prayer's a good idea. Every day when you wake up, thank God for the day. I thank God for the day. I say the Lord's Prayer, and it's sort of ingrained in me, my routine of what I do, and I do a lot of thinking. I guess you'd say I'm a deep thinker. I used to be a deep thinker, and then I try to do kindness to people. Well, why don't you send money to this charity or that? Well, I used to. Now I send money. I help people that I know. I buy a lot of people food. I give out gift cards to people that I know make a lot less than I do. Yeah, it's good, be thankful to wake up. OJ died today. He was 76 years old. Apparently, I didn't know this, but he had prostate cancer. It was in the news. O.J. Simpson passed away, 76 years old. And I wasn't aware of this, but apparently in February it had been announced that he had prostate cancer and he was going through chemotherapy. And all the controversy with O.J. Simpson, and the death of his ex-wife and the wife's boyfriend, and all the crap that he went through in the trial. And then a couple of years after that, he got sued by the family, and then they gave him there was a big settlement, and they basically cleaned him out. And then he was struggling, and then 5 or 6 years later something happened. I guess he was out in Las Vegas or someplace, and something came up over some memorabilia that had been his and that they had taken from him in the settlement. And then he found it and he wanted to get it back and all. Then they accused him of stealing it and everything. It was like originally his stuff, that had been confiscated from him. And then he went to jail for that. And when he got out of jail, and I forget if he served a couple of years, I guess, I don't know, 2-3 years, I don't know. I'd have to research it. He served some time. And when he got out of jail, nobody wanted to touch him. He was sort of toxic. And they had basically stripped him, but he had a lot of residuals from various movies he'd been in and stuff that he'd done and from his, retirement and all this sort of stuff. And he had a big income when he got out. He had a pretty good sized income. So, that was sad. He was a hero. He was an icon. He was very big back in the 70s and the 80s. He did all those commercials, and just sad. Mike Tyson. Wayne the Ungrateful Peasant. Good evening, Wayne. Mike Tyson is another one that went through a lot of grief. When he was younger, the manager that he had robbed him, took advantage of him, took a lot of his money. He had relations, and was married, and his wife screwed him over. He wound up getting in trouble for that. I think he went to jail for that. He went through a lot of hell, and he's out now, and he's like rehabilitated, so to speak, and he does a lot of interviews, and he makes guest appearances and such. And then I guess he's involved somewhat in boxing, in events. Like he was going to do a match with somebody who's like 20 years younger than him. Becoming Dangerous and Mind Channel. Yeah. Could it be the poke, as you call it? There are side effects. I've heard there are a lot of side effects. Seven in the house, 3 likes. Please leave a like to support the channel. I was sitting at 1,550, dropped down 1. I started growing back in spurts. In the last week or so, I picked up about 30 subscribers. So I might be at 1,600 in a week or two from now if I continue growing. I will be doing a 1,600 subscriber giveaway. To qualify for the 1,600 subscriber giveaway, you need to leave a like and a supportive comment on each of the last 5 videos that I release before I hit that 1,600. And I usually release about 1 video a week. Sometimes I go for a couple of weeks without releasing a video. Sometimes I release a couple of them. Same way when it comes to shorts. I usually release a short on the weekend. Sometimes I release 2. I think Monday I released 2. One of them has about 500 views, and the other one has 120 or 130 views. I've got a couple more prepped up to release. I just haven't done so. And WD Glock and Roll, welcome WD Glock and Roll. Haven't seen you recently. Please leave a like to support the channel. I left a community wall post. A lot of people, I guess, don't look at my posts, but I did a community wall post Tuesday evening stating that I would not be doing a live stream Wednesday because I had training. I also mentioned multiple times during my live stream Tuesday evening at 7 that I would not be on Wednesday because of training that I had yesterday for the state assessment. And I guess a lot of people didn't get the notice. But I do try to post on my community wall information about things that are happening with me or coming up. And I am sorry if you did not receive the notification. I've already been told a couple of people did not receive notifications, and they normally get a notification of my streams. So I don't know. YouTube has had interesting things happen involving YouTube recently, and I don't know. 3 likes, 7 in the house. I've had 10 channels come through and identify themselves so far. People are being stingy with their likes this evening. Somebody is a creepy stalker. I don't know. If I feel like I want to send somebody a goodie box, I ask for their address. And I really have never had anybody anywhere near me. And there are people who live here that subscribe me and follow me, and they're friends. A lot of times they basically lurk because they're old and they don't want to leave a fingerprint, or they'll leave a like, but they won't leave a comment. And then every once in a while I'll get a comment, from them. It's like, wow, you left me a comment, or you identified yourself. And they say, well, I watch you all the time. And then they'll talk about stuff I talked about, so I know that they were watching some of it. But, if you support me for long enough and you support me consistently for long enough, I'll wind up sending you something. Usually, you know what my goodie boxes look like, and I do change them up. No, I mean, you have reason to believe, that there are people that you got to watch out. I've got 2 daughters. They're both in their mid-20s, nice-looking girls, educated, and I worry about them. I worry about their safety, like when they're out at night. I think it's a little bit different for a guy to be out at night than the girl. But, I'm just saying. And women can't defend them. I treat women with respect, and I appreciate what they do. But women aren't. Women, a woman is not going to be able to handle herself against a man that knows what he's doing. And there are some women that are very well trained, but they don't have the physical strength, and they can't take a hit. They can't take a punch. And a lot of this stuff about where they beat the crap out of each other for like 30 minutes before somebody drops. In martial arts and power and such, one good solid hit to the right spot and it's over. And with a woman, we're really talking about that. You can kill a woman very easily. Man, strong man, one hit and you can kill a woman. And you can do the same thing. A woman could kill a man if you hit them in the right spot. If you know where their spots are. You can. Anybody. The human body is very fragile. Well, I'm sure that cost you an arm and a leg, Wayne. I spend a lot more. I spend a lot more on my dogs than I do on myself. Well, I do have insurance that I do spend a couple of months, $100 a month on my insurance. But as far as actually what I put out, I basically go for a wellness checkup once a year, and I take medications covered by my insurance. If I really get sick, I usually do teledoc. It's like $35 or $40 for a teledoc. On the phone, with the doctor, and tell them and they'll prescribe something for you. Usually. The dogs, Man, you take the dog to the vet and they just have a checkup, and then they do shots and they do worming or they do whatever they're going to do. Shit, it's 200 and some odd dollars per dog, and then they want you to do that a couple times a year. You know, so I very easily spend over $1,000 a year on medical bills for my dogs, for the two of them. Yeah. Yep. 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 Well, God bless. Oh, that's a lot of money. I paid a little more than that for the last new truck that I bought. Can tell you how long it's been since I bought a truck. 17K. Jesus. But I don't know. I read a lot of little blurbs and such. I get the news. I'm a big fan of Bill O'Reilly. That makes me a horrible person. I'm a horrible person. I like Elon Musk. I like Bill O'Reilly. Um, I follow more conservative sources like Brett Bart. Um, I read 1440, which is a little news clip you get every day. It takes about 10 minutes to read it. Free service. It gives you, what's going on. Yeah, 800. My yeah, that they call it the knockout game. Yeah, yeah, happens a lot up northeast. Thugs. Now they're wearing masks. They're got gloves on. They got masks on. You can't tell out who they are. Sometimes you can't even tell what race they are because they're completely covered up. And they attack old people. A lot of old people. A lot of women. They're thugs. They are trash. One of my most gratuitous movies was Death Wish 3. That was when Paul Kersey, the character Paul Kersey, goes to New York City to a really rundown old neighborhood that basically thugs and really old retired people. And the thugs are terrorizing the community. And he goes in there and he sends for his friend Wilby Magnum, and he proceeds to clean up the gangs. I mean, he puts them on slabs. He just, you know, and Charles Bronson, in his older years, you know, he did the Death Wish series. But the third one's my favorite because of all the high body count of thugs that he killed. And I'd like to turn somebody loose like that on New York right now. New York needs some vigilantes. That poor guy in the military that was on that tram, and that crazy thug was going crazy, threatening to attack everybody, and he basically subdued him and got him in a hold. And then the guy wound up dying. And they said, hey, other people were involved, black people were involved. It wasn't, he's like Marine. He had been a Marine for like 4 years. And now he's going on trial. You know, they're trying him. And they let the thugs off. When the thugs do stuff, they let the thugs off. But the nice guy, they try him. That's Alvin Bragg. The guy is after Trump for, what's he after Trump for? Something other, the statute of limitations. He turned it into a felony, something other that was a misdemeanor. If they charged it during the statute, during the statute went out, then they charged it, and they did, somehow they created it as a felony, you know, like 39 counts of whatever. Oh, please, these people. And he was like a George Soros backed. Absolute, yes. Yeah, a Browning 30 cal. Oh, the ammunition would kill you. The ammunition would really be expensive. Anyway, 8 in the house, and I'm showing 3 likes. What is it with the likes today, people? I have told y'all repeatedly, first thing you do when you come into somebody's stream or you go onto their video, hit the like button. Doesn't cost you anything. Give them some love. Give me some love. Hit the like button. Am I that bad tonight? I really probably need to, fat fingers, I really probably need to start putting together a little script of what I want to talk about. I mean, I need to write notes down. This is the big stuff that happened in the news today, or that you talk about the news. There is a volcano in South Iceland that is spewing right now. There's one over on the other side of the world that's spewing. I heard rumor there's 4 of them spewing. And they will affect the weather, they'll affect the temperature. You know, it'll have effect. And yeah, it causes climate change. But what people don't understand, you got these people who are like, they're like got Tourette's and they're climate change, climate change. Ever since there's been a climate, there has been climate change. The climate is constantly changing and fluctuating. The solar cycle, that 11-year solar cycle, is constantly changing. The sun is constantly changing from putting out more energy to putting out less energy to ratcheting it back up, putting out more energy. 11-year cycle. Excuse me. Hello, Rhonda. Oh, I'm doing okay. Everything all right back there? Oh, I'm so sorry. He's 93 years old, wasn't he? Yeah, he would have been 94. What, in June? July. Uh huh. Well. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. I would. Yeah. And Uncle Howard was 93. Well, Uncle Lucian lived. Uncle Lucian was 94 when he passed, and yeah. Well, like Otis and Helen were both Otis and Helen were both in their 80s. Helen, I think, and Helen was like 82, and um, yeah, and Otis was like 82, 83 years old. Well, my father was 64, but then, he basically died of a brain tumor because he used tobacco for like over 50 years, and they didn't know back then, like in the 70s, and they didn't find it until it was very advanced. He didn't wake up from his surgery. I was 14 at the time, and he had, he had a brain tumor. Yeah, yeah. But, but, yeah, Uncle, I had been wanting to get back there. I felt real bad about not going to Aunt Marie's funeral, and and well, Aunt Marie was always my favorite aunt on my father's side of the family, and I know, technically she was married to my uncle, but I mean, she treated me better than anybody else in the family. I was closer to her than anybody else in the family, and I had a real close relationship with her while she had her health. When her mind started going, I really sort of lost contact with her. But for years and years and years, and when I was going back and visiting periodically for a period of time, when I go back there several times to visit, she was always, and she always, you know, well, be safe and yeah, open arms. And Uncle Howard was always very good. He'd always talk about the past and tell me stories. And but the thing is that Uncle Howard, being 10 years older than Aunt Marie, and being is it's been a number of years since I've been back there. But when I did go back, um, when I did go back to visit, um, I never really saw Tony. I never really saw Greg. A couple of times I did. A couple of times I did briefly, but really not any connection with them. It was always, we were the ones that always, talked. and your little girl was real small. You know, when she was like 8 or 10 years old, I can remember her when she was real small. Well, she's going to be 30. And she's what now? She's about 29, 30. Okay, okay. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, you, you've got a beautiful daughter, and I've talked to her. I've talked to her, and I've texted her with her a few times, not recently, and just it's like we really don't have that. I mean, I know we have a huge family. I know we have a huge family, but well, they're all second. They're all second and third cousins. They're all second and third. All of the because we're the babies, so all of the first cousins are like 20 years older than us. So it's like the second cousins. He was, but I mean all the yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I guess he's going to be he'll be buried with Aunt Marie. They're together. They'll be together. It's a nice cemetery where they're at. I mean, I've seen the pictures and everything. And at at some point in time, I do plan on coming back there to visit. And when I do, I'll try to bring some of my memorabilia, some of my I've got some family history stuff that was given to me going back generations. That talk about all the ancestors, and I'm sure your daughter will want that, and I'm sure you'll want that, for her. And I'm very happy that I'm sad that Uncle Howard didn't get to see his grandchild, but his great, I guess it'd be great grand. Well, that's oh, okay. Well, I hope you keep it loaded, and it's self protection. I hope y'all have a few. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Well, the last time the last time I came back there and visited, and I always self protection and everything, and I brought that with me, and I think I brought a couple of different pieces with me. I had like a backup, and I had that one. And he said, he had revolvers. He was old school, and his duty he always had his duty pistol revolver, and he said, he was really concerned about something happening and then having to defend himself, and all the thugs would have more powerful weapons than he did. And he said he liked it, and I said, "You like it?" I said, "Well, here, Uncle Howard, it's yours." And I gave it to him, and it's a nice, stainless steel Smith and Wesson, and but it, well, I appreciate it. Okay, okay, yeah. Have have y'all have y'all had a when is the baby due? Okay, 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 okay. Um, all right, okay, okay, okay. Does he make pretty good money? Does he got a pretty good job? Okay, okay, Okay. Well, that's good. Well, she's at the age. She's at the age. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. She's still young, but she's not. She's not a baby. So that's great. I know. Well, hell, I'm going to be 62 this month, and I know I'm a little bit older than you, and everything, but uh, I don't know. I loved Uncle Howard like a second father. Um, I did not live near y'all, and I only visited periodically for when I could. And it's been a long time since I've been back. It's been a long time since I've been back there. I felt bad about not going to Aunt Marie's funeral. I wasn't really in a position to go at the time. Yeah, I know. I know. Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, our grandfather died in 1932 at the age of 49. He had what was called Bright's disease, which was basically high blood pressure. He had a heart attack and he passed on at 49. Yes. Yes. Joseph Joseph Beecher. His name was Joseph Beecher Lynn. Yes. In 19, at 1932. Yeah. Yes. And my father was 19, and I used to hear the story that he used to call your father used to call my father daddy when he was a little boy, because for about 8 or 10 years my dad stayed there and was sort of like trying to help the family out and everything after his father passed. And he was 19 years old. And there's y'all have a portrait, or Uncle Howard had a portrait of you know yeah. And he used to always talk. Yeah, I understand. And he used to talk about, oh, hopefully there's some black and white pictures, but he had blue eyes, and aunt grandmother Bertha had brown eyes, and my father wound up having brown eyes. And I don't know how many of the kids had colored eyes, but dad had. Mm, mm-hmm, yeah. Yeah. Well, our grandmother, I heard, was part Cherokee. She had some Cherokee. Uh, Bertha Howell. She was a Howell, and our great grandfather was a Baptist pastor. And he, yes, sure. So, Uncle Howard, my Uncle Howard, 93 years old, passed away, and really, really sad. Um, when Aunt Marie passed away, I cried, and right now I don't feel like crying, so it's a good thing, because it's. But it'll hit me at some point. No, I know a little bit about the history of my father's family, and I've got some material that one of our relatives gave me on the history of Dad's family, my father's family. Yes, his wife was a collector of. She was a historian, the family historian, and she gave me copies of all that. So I have that. I have all that stuff, and it goes back generations and generations and generations, and and but and some of them had colorful histories. Like apparently, our fathers had an uncle whose nickname was Scrap, and they used to call him. They used to call him, and I guess he was a brother of our grandfather, and he had a reputation. He liked to fight, and they used to call him. They used to call him Scrap, and Scrap, SCRAP. He used to like to fight, and this would have been, this would have been 100 years ago. This is 100 years ago, because um, they were both born in the 18. I think they were born like in the 1880s. So Aunt Grandma Bertha was about 80, 81, 82 years old when she passed away, and she passed away probably 70ish. I'd have to check somewhere. Okay. Right. Yeah. Uh-huh. Mm. And how that turned out. Yeah, that turned out shit. I guarantee you that we had a lot of hell with him last time I was back there. You know, and yeah, yeah, yeah. Think so. Hmm. Yeah. Well, see, she had some kids, didn't she? I think she had some kids, because she'd been married before, and then she was real. She thought she was real big with the church, and she used to sing in the choir and all this, mess. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm. Yeah, he. Oh boy, we should we should have beat the crap out. We should have beat the crap out of him. Yeah, he really, God Almighty. He was the black sheep of the family. He really was, and yeah, 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 right, mm, yeah. Well, you know, when Aunt Helen passed on, it 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 turned out that she had had cancer, and we didn't know it. They did not know she had cancer. It was very advanced before they found it. So she was like eight. She was past 80. She was past 80 when it happened. And then Aunt Otis was, yeah, yeah. And then Aunt Otis was like 82, 83 when she passed, because she lived another couple of years, and then they put her in a home. And you know, but yeah, that was really, I don't know. I tell you what, Rhonda, it's been a day for me. I went back to work as a teacher. I had retired. I stayed retired for a while, and then I went back to work as a teacher, and I've been teaching this year. And then I've got a contract for next year, so I'm gonna continue teaching. And I get retirement. I get retirement from the state, and then I get my check. So it's like, I make good money now. But I'm planning on at some point want to come back there to visit. I'd like to take Esmeralda and Amanda, and Amanda's got somebody she's serious about now. Want to possibly go back there and visit. And but I tell you what, I will wind up sending a nice gift for the baby. I'll send what I'll probably do is I'll send a gift card, or I'll send a check, and I will certainly look forward to pictures. And at some point in time, I do plan on going back and visiting, and I'll you know, uh, you know, that's fine. Yeah, they did. Well, you are the jewel of the crown, and then the boys. I don't know. I just I don't know. You know. I, or I'd have. Yeah, I don't know. I think I might look at some insurance. Like what does a funeral cost now? 10, $15,000. I think I'd look at some. You know, I think I'd look at like at a burial policy or whatever. And and I thought Greg was doing pretty good. I thought he was doing okay, and I thought he was working and doing okay. Oh crap! Oh crap! Damn! Yeah, yeah. Well, I appreciate you calling, and I'm so sorry. Um, I loved Uncle Howard I really loved Uncle Howard. I loved Aunt Marie, and they were probably the closest people to. I really enjoyed the time that I did spend with them. I really enjoyed it. I'm sorry I didn't grow up back there together. I'm sorry we didn't grow up together back there, because I know if we did, um, we'd be a lot closer than we are. But I do well, I love you. I love you, and tell Russell I said hello, and my best to your up and coming. Uh, the family's growing. Family's growing. Okay. Hey, I'll be sending her something. It'll come to you, and you just basically forward it to her. Okay. Bye bye. Love you. Bye bye. Well, I'm sorry about that. I just received notification that my uncle Howard passed away. He was 93 years old, the baby of the family. My father was the eldest. He was 17 years older than Uncle Howard, And when their father passed away, my father was 19 and my Uncle Howard was 2. So Uncle Howard was 93. He would have been 94 in July. And apparently he had like a stroke and he passed. And he was the baby of the family. Uncle Lucian was the middle child. He was 94 when he passed. I am sorry. I've been on the phone. I had a phone call and it sort of interrupted my live stream. I see you guys are still here and you're still talking. And but that's the news. I had a death in the family. They're all gone now. The last of my aunts and uncles passed away. And Uncle Howard was served. He served 3 years in the military. He was drafted. He served 3 years. He came out of the military. He used the GI Bill, and he went to Georgia State. Got a bachelor's degree in business. Never used that degree. Spent 32 years in Georgia State Police before he retired. He retired Georgia State Police. And you know, just very sad, very sad. I will plan on being back tomorrow, and I do apologize about the way things went. I will be back tomorrow for another edition of Coffee Talk, and I will keep you all informed. Thank you. Remember, the Scout motto is be prepared. Life is good, but it is what it is every day. Thank God for the day. You don't know how many days you have. A lot of people are dying young. And everybody, please have a blessed day. Thank you.